Hello everybody and welcome back to RuneScape 3's Ironman. Before I go any further, I'm just going to say something huge happens in this episode. I'm not going to spoil it, so you're just going to have to watch to the very end of this episode to see what the iron gets. But you know the deal, if you find yourself enjoying this video, please be sure to leave a comment. It may turn up in one of these videos. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button down below. It really helps by supporting me. And if you want to see more of my content, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright everybody, to kick things off, if you remember all those gems we got from those geodes a few episodes ago, it was time to put use to them. It was time to chisel all the opals till I reached level 20, then it was time to add a little bit of sapphire to the mix. We chiseled away until I reached level 30, but then I decided to go do something else. Now I know this looks bad, but I need to get my thieving level up for some quests in the future, so there's no better time than the present, right? So I started gaining these levels, but upon stealing from these people in the Lumbridge market, I received a dodgy flyer. It was from Darren Lightfinger, the Chancellor of Lumbridge Guild of Thieves. He was requesting my presence at the first annual selection of appointees. So what does any curious bloke do when you receive a dodgy flyer? You go investigate it, of course. So I went to the cellar near a house in Lumbridge and found Darren, where he goes on a rant about having an easier life by taking from the rich and not having to worry about rent and so on and so forth. Mind you, this guild's only been around for 2 weeks and their elaborate plan to get rich quick was to steal from Lumbridge Castle's bank, which is supposedly held a golden chalice. He informed me he had a willing buyer for it, but this means it was time to start the quest called Buyers and Sellers. The first goal for me was to start training. He wanted me to start practicing on this training dummy, who so happens to have pockets stitched to him. The next goal was for me to find Robin, who knew the identity of the chalice owner, who informs me his chalice is no longer being held in Lumbridge Bank, which a fantastic news because honestly, with my thieving level, I had no idea how I was going to get into that bank. But he did inform me a wild-haired old man with a bad temper was seen walking away to the Lumbridge swamp. He also informed me I would need to pick his pocket for a key to the glass case that it would be held in. I also thought to myself, who do I know that lives in the Lumbridge swamp that has a bad temper and wild hair? Maybe a priest, maybe a Father Ernie perhaps? I went over to the building in the Lumbridge swamp and simply just asked if I could hold the chalice. However, he refused, so I came up with a sketchy plan and grabbed some logs and lit a fire near his window. I told him there was a fire. I quickly picked his pocket and quickly grabbed the chalice and returned to Darren and gave him his prized possession. And that was quest complete. I received 500 thieving XP, access to the thieving guild, ability to collect hanky points, and 1 quest point for a total of 25 quest points. Up next, it was time to visit the gnomes at the Grand Tree, where they would start helping me to level my agility. I reached level 10 and quickly gained to level 15, but what happened next was something I was not expecting. Well, take a look. Holy smokes! No way! No way! I got this at literally so low of a level 17 agility. I got the pet. I got the Dojo Mojo pet. Holy smokes, this is so cool. Oh, that's so awesome. Yes. That's right, I received the agility pet at such a low level, but we will have to celebrate more so later. It was time to get back to working out with these gnomes. As I was training, a training scout called me over. However, he tricked me and knocked me out. He took me to some cave where I would need to put my agility skills to the test. This is fine because it was how I could get the agility training outfit, aka the nimble outfit. I also got level 29 agility. But I wasn't just going to stop at level 30 agility. I decided I was going to push to level 32 for the future quests that you'll see later in this episode. Up next, I was making my rounds around west side of Falador where I heard a boy crying. I walked up to the boy and asked if he was okay. He informed me his ball went over the witch's hedges and she locked the ball up in her shed. I knew I would need a plan, so I made myself some cheese, not realizing she had cheese on her table already. But in case you were wondering, you can go grab a bucket here at the Cabbage Patch Fields where you can get some good old milk and you can go churn it to make yourself a cheese wheel. Then use your knife and voila, you have a slice of cheese. I love some cheese. Up next, I figured it may be trapped, so I went to get some hide from a cow and tanned it to make some leather gloves in case I get electrified. It's time to officially start the witch's house. I went to the entrance of her house and searched the planted plot. Once in the house, I went down the stairs and put on my leather gloves. The fence was crackling with electricity. I opened up the gate, searched the cupboard. I went back up the stairs and used the cheese on the mouse hole and quickly attached a magnet to the mouse as well. This would unlock the door. All I had to do next is find my way to the fountain where I can get the key to the shed. Upon entering the shed and attempting to take the ball, a shapeshifter appeared. Out of nowhere, I battled it, and it did put up a good fight, but I ended up being victorious. I went up to return the ball to Harvey, and that was quest complete. I was rewarded 6,325 Constitution XP and 4 quest points. I was left with 29 quest points. I went to Berthrop because I forgot to grab my free Wicked Hood from the vendor and teleported to Runespan where I could get a few more rune crafting levels. First to level 40, then to level 45. It's quite nice being on the second level of Runespan. Up next, I wanted to go kill blue dragons for baby dragon bones. But to do so, I will need a key. So I wanted to show you how to get the dusty key. Once at the Black Knight's headquarters in the Taverley dungeon, you will need to kill the jailer. Then unlock the gate and talk to Valorak the Explorer and ask if he knows anywhere good to explore. He'll hand you the dusty key and you will be on your way to the blue dragons. Now you're probably wondering, why baby dragon bones? Well, I wanted to use them on the Chaos Altar. Even though I'm not a Zamorakian follower, this would get me to the level I wanted, which was level 43 prayer, for all the protection prayers. I returned to the Thieving Guild to practice on the cell doors till I reached level 30 thieving. I wanted to get some more crafting levels up, so I mined the gem rocks north of Alcard till I felt I had enough gems to get me to level 50 crafting. And just in case you're wondering, once I had a full inventory, I would use the archaeology book to teleport to the archaeology guild and use their bank there. It was real nice. Once reaching level 50 crafting, it was time to do the quest Jungle Potion. So I went to Carmaja and spoke to Trufitus, who strangely enough was the only one in the village. He told me they scattered into the jungle because they are afraid, but he asked if I would help. So I helped gathering the supplies for a potion needed to commune with the gods. While gathering these herbs, I knew I would need them for a later quest, so I gathered a few extra. And boom. That was quest complete. I received 775 Herblore XP and 1 quest point for a total of 30 quest points. I went to the land out of time, Anachronia, and upgraded my sleeping quarters so I could have more workers. Then I sent my newly founded recruits to gather wood, vine, and stone so I could upgrade my town hall I'm hoping for next week. While I'm there, I might as well get to doing the weekly Herbly Worthy. This will grant me to 26 herblore, and I was able to get the herb bag, which is great because now it could save me even more bank space because it holds all my dirty herbs. I gathered my supplies I would need for Shallow Village and went to talk to Mosel Ree. I honestly have no idea how to say their names, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I'm going to butcher half of these names. But Rasha has returned and caused the undead to rise in the village. He gives me a decorated belt to show Trufitus, who then mentioned something about a legend. But basically my goal was to help put these people to rest, to lift the curse, and that was quest complete. I received 3,875 crafting experience, access to Shallow Village, and travel between Brimhaven and Shallow Village, and 2 quest points. I am now at a whopping 32 quest points. I went over to May's Quest Caravan and got me a dice and rolled it, and it got me 250k and a Wizard Golden Trim rope top. Before we go, I thought it'd be fun to see what kind of Reaper I would get, so I spoke to Death, and he needs me to bring a balance by bringing him 6 souls of King Black Dragon. But hey, that's going to do it for this episode of RuneScape 3's Ironman. But first, let's take a look at the stats and bank. I feel like we got a lot done this week, but let's see what next week brings. I hope you all enjoyed this week's episode, so be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. My name is Auzzy. I'll see you again soon. See ya.